We're going to talk about artsiness at a later point, I'm sure. It seems to be a conversation we talk about a lot. Because, I mean, we could talk about it now. Should we talk about it now, or do we save it?
I guess so. Let's just talk about it now, get it over and done with.
Okay. So, to any listeners who like artsy movies for the sake of artsy movies, yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with an artsy film in itself. There's a certain type of people who watch artsiness for the sake of artsiness, who will hear a film is niche, and they're also probably the type of people who watch certain obscure films just so they can mention them in parties and kind of among stuff. And you can see a person like that a mile off. I know people who like artsy films, who genuinely like artsy films because of what they do and what they do. That's fine.
And I think artsy films, for kind of people that want to go into film and stuff, are important.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to have a balance of kind of cliche, those types of films, because they're the films that tend to, you know, make more box office wise. They're the films that, if you have that kind of talent to balance both out, you will probably have a better chance, I would say.
Yeah. So to those who don't know, we're both wanting to get into film, right? Like, we're both interested in careers in film. And so, yeah, I think I've always gone to say, especially like my interest is writing and directing mostly, is that like there are certain types of people who want to make a film for like the cinephile, for the film fan, for the film student to watch and say, wow, that was a masterpiece. I want to make one that the film fan would watch and say, that was quite sweet, I'd like to show that to my mum. Like, that's the kind of... I want to make a nice kind of sweet, shut your brain off, heartfelt film. Sometimes. Other times, stupid comedies and dark thrillers, as, you know, it appears. But I think for the most part, that is kind of it, is that I've been very kind of centred around general audiences and the mainstream. And I think there's a weird taboo about the mainstream by filmmakers. Like, filmmakers who want to make films for general audiences, it's almost as if they've sold out. And I don't think that's the case, necessarily.
No, I don't think so. Because it's like, I mean, look at films of the likes of Seven, for example, that we spoke about earlier. That is a big budget film for a general audience, not really, you know, like, it's not for film, you know, like, artsy people, I wouldn't say. But it is such a great film. And it kind of... it has that kind of aspect. I mean, I like thrillers and I like horrors and I like psychological stuff. That's just my type of genre, I think. But I think Seven works well with that, and I think it kind of brings in the general audience. And that's kind of what I would like to do. Stuff like that. Yeah. That you come out and you think, wow, that was clever.
Yeah, it's never my go-to. I still need to see Seven. But among stuff that we've talked about, you've drawn me into that intrigue and the appeal of people coming out and thinking, oh, that was cleverly done, that was well made, which is great. But I don't think there's any selling out aspect of a film that can make you laugh or cry. Like, that's just the thing. And even if you do it in a really cheesy way, if you can get a reaction from the spectator, from the audience, then you've succeeded in the best way. I've once made a film that made people cry, and it was a very, very weird experience. In hindsight, I'm like, oh, that was great. At the actual time, with people coming out of the screening, tears going down their face and thinking, I did that. That's not a good feeling. That's quite
Yeah, but it is, because you got a certain emotion from them, and I think that's what film is about. It's getting that kind of emotion from, like, you want people to gain a connection with the characters from the film, and that's because of your directing and writing, etc. And I like that.
Yeah, and I think also, obviously, a lot of relationship with cinema is what you bring into the film. So rom-com, I don't know why I got appeal with rom-coms, actually, because I'm not someone who's been in any relationships or anything. I just like them. That doesn't make sense. But a lot of the time, people, you know, it's what you bring in, your own past, your own views, your own ideas. No two people are going to get the same experience out of a film. And I think that's important in noting. Like, we can talk, and we will, I'm sure, talk about good and bad movies, but in real life, there's no such
thing. This leads to something. So, after every episode, we are potentially going to be giving you a film recommendation that isn't Love, Rosie.
Yeah, just whatever films we've watched this week, we'll talk about.
Just so, like, if you're sat down and you're thinking, I have no idea what to watch, this is a great place to find out.
Yeah. I mean, mine is a film, when we get to it, a film which which came out a couple of years ago, everyone was talking about. I didn't get around to seeing until like 2 days ago. So that's mine. So sometimes there'll be films you've seen before. Other times they may be just random, obscure. I don't know. I don't think there'll be any week where we haven't watched a film. I think both of us watch films pretty regularly.
Unfortunately, this is probably not very good, but yeah.
I watched 3 films on Saturday. It was a good day.
It's just like you watch one and then it's like, okay, maybe just one more.
And sometimes it's completely unintentional. Like I was watching one with my family, and then we went to do something, and it was like, oh, let's watch a film together tonight. And then it's like, oh, we got a bit more time. Let's put something else on. And then it's only when I checked my letterboxd afterwards, I was like, 3 films? Huh.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was that was it.